plan strategically. I can get it right. I'm gonna go where the winners go. 'Cause Ellen ain't an option, no. It ain't in my blood.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mondays Beyond the Mic and happy Black History Month. Yay! I'm your host, Dr. Elaine. This is the place where we tell the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, so that men and women can learn and grow together. I want to say thank you to our regular viewers and welcome to our new viewers. I ask that you do what? Press that like button, the thumbs up button. That button help moves. Well, when you hit that button, I should say, it helps move the show further into these YouTube streets. And we want super chats. Super chats. We absolutely love super chats. That means if we get a super chat from you, doesn't matter what's happening, we will stop the show to read your comment first. So we have some disclaimers. This is for entertainment and education purposes only, and the house rules are respect, respect, respect. If disrespect is displayed in the chat or on the platform, we will remove individuals, and that is not what we want to do, because we want to learn and grow together. And if we remove you, you're not going to learn, right? Okay, so I'd like to say welcome to my co-host, Lady Dawn B. How are you?
Hey, good people, what's popping? I'm good. It's what? One more day closer to Friday. How are you?
I am well. I'm well. I had a really great weekend. I had the opportunity to be the Black History keynote speaker for a wonderful group of people from the Social Service Employee Union Local 371. I had a blast. And you know how when you find your tribe and you just feel like, yeah. So just shout out to them.
I do.
And yeah. So
Sounds
that's
like big fun.
it was. It was. I mean, except New York City parking. That's the only thing. Trying to find a parking spot in New York City, along with snow still on the side. No fun. As
Mm,
they say, no bueno.
no.
Um, so let's welcome the people in the chat.
Well, all right, let's see what we got.
Anae says, "Hey,
Of
bravo at
course.
Sheila Network." So go ahead, do what you do. She said, "Hey, Dr.
Well,
Elaine,"
of course.
and "Hey, Don, Lady Dawn B."
She is what? The greatest moderator to ever do it in these YouTube streets. And where is she? Here with us. We'll fight for her, we will.
And Rochelle Evans, she said, "Hey, Rochelle," she said, "Good evening, lovely ladies. Thank you for joining us." And Gail Lockley, one of the Lockley sisters, she said, "Good evening, ladies. Good evening." And
Hey, Gail.
Lee said, "Good evening, everyone." And shout out to Lee. She joined me on Friday. So thank you, Lee.
Nice.
And Nadine Cook, good evening. Good evening, Nadine. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you. All right. So, as you know, Black
And
History Month.
hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We got one more.
The other half of the Lockley sisters, Sharon, she said, "Hey, ladies." Hey, Sharon. Sharon also was there on Friday. So, thank you. And to Bree and to Madison. So, thank you to the Lockley family. So, as we we're in Black History Month. So we like to take a little pause to have our moment in Black history. And Lady Dawn B, you want to take it away?
Sure, why not? Let's have at it. Well, this week we are highlighting and honoring Mark Dean. If you're reading this on a personal computing device or anything that you're reading on a personal computing device, you've got Mark Dean, who was born in 1957 and he's still here to the present. You got Mark Dean to thank for that. Thank you, Mark Dean. The scientist and inventor was a trailblazer in the field of computing. Dean discovered he had a knack for working with his hands from a young age, once helping his father assemble a tractor from scratch. That's impressive. He studied engineering in college and started working with IBM soon after earning his degree. At IBM, Dean quickly moved up the ranks, developing 3 original patents. Among his projects were the first color computer monitors and the first gigahertz chips, which performs a billion calculations a second. Wow. So keep this in mind. We thank you and we salute you, Mark Dean. Back to you,
All
Dr.
right.
E.
Well, thank you. Tonight I'm excited because it's an episode of He Said, She Said, and we never know what's going to happen on the show. So tonight is our pre-Valentine's Day edition because we know Valentine's Day is coming and some of us may need to know how to navigate. So Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and for some of us that means roses, reservations, and romance. For others, it means group chats, chocolate, and asking, Lord, is it me? Is it me? Why am I out here by myself? Today's episode is all about love before the holidays, the expectation, the pressures, the situationships, the healing, and the honesty we need before February 14th shows up unannounced. We know it's coming though. Whether you're single, dating, married, divorced, widow, or it's just complicated, this episode is for everyone who ever questioned love, timing, or their own heart. So, guess what? Grab your tea. We might spill some tea or your water. And let's talk about love before Valentine's Day. So before Valentine's Day, tell us how we're supposed to feel. So I'm excited to welcome my guests to the platform, to the panel, so we could talk about it. Look, Lady Dawn said you don't need no introduction, just here. Come on up. So we want to
I didn't
welcome,
even do it.
right? We want to welcome first Dr. Shayna Burnett. Dr. Shayna, welcome to Mondays Beyond the Mic again. She got her drink, she got her tea. And we want to welcome Mr. Tony James. How are you both?
Doing well, doing well. How's
Okay,
everybody?
we are
Good
doing
evening,
well.
beautiful people. Doing amazing. It's great to see your beautiful faces this evening and handsome face.
Thank you.
So we should have some more members joining us on the panel. But until then, we're going to move forward and let's have this pre-Valentine's Day grown folk discussion. Y'all ready?
Hold on, let me wipe my face first. Let me
Did you
wipe my
did you pull out your church handkerchief? All
Okay.
right, Lady Dawn B.
Oh, I don't know if I'm ready for this conversation, but we're here now. But we're here now. So, it's the
Wait,
most
Lady
wonderful
Dawn,
time of
Lady
the year.
Dawn. I'm sorry. Before you start, please make sure if you are in the bleachers, if you are not in the bleachers, hit that like button for us because we have some folks that's up in the bleachers. Just hit the like button before we get started. I apologize. Lady Dawn, take it away.
Oh, no problem. It gives us a minute to pause, think about what's about to go down. You know how it goes on Monday nights. All right, well, let us get it started then. So, when you hear Valentine's Day, what's your first emotional reaction? Are you excited? Is it excitement? Do you feel pressure? Are you indifferent, or is it like avoidance? What is your first reaction when you hear Valentine's Day? I know it's usually ladies first, but I feel like we should yield to the gentleman first tonight. I just felt it in my spirit, in my shondo. Felt like
Uh, well, my first reaction, I would have to say, uh, Valentine's Day is a day. Even though, as men, especially us old school men like myself, I know it's more important. It's more important for women than men to me. But Valentine's Day is a day for lovers. It's not just a woman's holiday, or it should be celebrated by all lovers, not just women. But when I first had, and I think about Valentine's Day, for some reason I always go back to the first grade. And then those little notes you used to send to the little girl that you I love you. Do you love me? Will you be my Valentine? And for some reason, my mind always goes back to that. When love was it was innocent then. And now as we've gotten older, things they've become so complicated in some ways. But I think the innocence of Valentine's Day, to me, the first thing I think about is going back to my elementary school days when I had a little crush on little Tammy Bowen with the little pigtails back Hernando Elementary.
okay.
All right,
Well,
that was
Tammy,
your
if you out
first
there,
one.
let Tammy know if you out there. Tammy, he was crushing on you. Okay.
Hey, that was 50 years ago, so I don't know where she is now. I have no idea.
Hey, stranger things have happened. You never know. You just never know. Well, Dr. Shayna, what about you? What comes to your first thoughts when you hear Valentine's Day?
So I'm indifferent. I'll choose the term indifferent because February 14th does not define love for me. Um, Being whole, and you ladies opened up with being healed, um, and God led every day is important. So for me in a relationship, when I am with a partner, I say my partner for life, I would say Valentine's Day or the expression of should be shared monthly. I would even say by uh, twice a month. And what that looks like is you're sharing, as Tony shared, those words of affirmation, those notes, those gestures of love. It shouldn't just be um, spared, for lack of a better term, for one day out of the year. It should be an expression throughout the year. And I'm a firm believer in dating my partner and dating and being dated. So not waiting for February 14th. So I'm indifferent of the day. I just feel like it's just yet another day to uh for propaganda purposes. And I want to be celebrated every month. I believe we all should be, right?
I love it.
Okay, listen, say it with your chest and own it. I'm not mad at that. That's right. You should want to be celebrated. Dr. Shayna wants to be celebrated every month. So whomever is out there who is looking to partner with her, she is keeping it real, letting you know what her needs are. So if you're not him, don't do it. Okay? Don't say you weren't warned. She lets
You
you
know,
know.
and I can say
Tony is
this.
looking for the innocence.
With some pigtails.
Now,
Go ahead.
and I agree with exactly what she said, because one of the things I would do as a man, as a male, I think some things can be so cliches, but old school. Chivalry is not dead. It hadn't died. And to send someone flowers on Valentine's Day, I know women love that, and I've done it before in the past. But I would always make a point of mine from a male perspective. My woman would get her flowers throughout the year, her candy throughout the year. I mean, Valentine's Day is just a day that we celebrate lovers, instead of going out to dinner. I was one of those guys. I've always felt like, I'd rather cook dinner. I'm a pretty good chef, pretty good cook myself. So, and it's just a day to be celebrated, but like it should be done throughout the year. It should be done, especially a man. A man's just, most men, I think we fall short sometimes. We forget the courtship in our relationships. And when we're dating, even when we're married, we forget how to date our wives. And I think by giving those flowers, giving that candy throughout the year, and I don't think if you were the right partner, she wouldn't take that for granted. Because Valentine's Day, it is just a day. And like I said, anyway, that's my 2 cents.
We appreciate your 2 cents, sir.
All right. And we do. Come on, Dr. E.
See, Valentine's Day hits different for me. And I'll tell you why. Because almost 21 years ago, I gave birth on Valentine's Day.
Okay.
So from that time on, it has been about her and not about me. So it's a day that I always say my miracle baby was born. Prior to that, if I can remember that far back, I think very much so. It's like if you only bring me flowers on Valentine's Day, or you only bring me candy on Valentine. Personally, I'm an edible arrangements kind of girl, but if you only do that on Valentine's Day, then I have a problem, because that says someone had to tell you this is the day, versus you saying, just because I'm with Elaine, I want to celebrate her and our love, or whatever it may be. So for me, that's how I view Valentine's Day. So pretty much like everyone else, except I gave birth on that day. What about you, Lady Dawn?
No, I'm kidding. I was gonna go left orange, but it's still early, so I'm not gonna. I was feeling a little
That's
toxic
okay.
rising in my throat, but I'm gonna swallow it. always. I have mixed emotions and feelings. Above all, I would say I'm a person who I'm big on birthdays and holidays, and I'm big on them because it's about the time spent with those that you love. However, I don't need the calendar to dictate, like, this is when you do this for me. At this big old age, I'm kind of, I feel like Valentine's Day is over exaggerated, and I'm kind of like, I'm over it in some ways. I really am. Because like most of us have said, if we can't celebrate each other and our love on a regular basis, like a day to day, I feel like when I was someone, I do little things every day. It could be, hey, let me send you Dunkin' Donuts gift card or whatever, babe, go get breakfast. I can't have coffee with you, but you can have coffee on me, just because. I believe men, as I was listening to Tony, it disturbs my heart, because when we say that Valentine's Day is geared towards women, and I don't find fault with that, but it grieves me in a way, because it always is geared towards the women. And women, we don't do anything or very little for our men, because we don't think men want flowers. We don't think men want chocolate. We don't think men want to be taken out or to be thought of. How do we as women reciprocate to our men on Valentine's Day without it coming off as masculine? I want to treat you like you treat me. For me, I don't want to go out to dinner because I hate crowds. I don't want to be caught up in all these restaurants and all this running around because I feel like the hustle and bustle just takes away from the moment. I would rather do something intimate at home. Like, like Tony said, let's cook. We can go out another time, but let's cook together, order out. Let's do nothing. Let's do something that's us. Even go to a hotel overnight and just Netflix and chill, order some pizza. What do the thing that you don't do often, which is just kind of chill, take time out for each other outside of all the fluff and stuff. And I feel like we have taken the love out of Valentine's Day and made it more competitive, especially us women, because the 15th, the number one question that echoes all day long, what did you get? What did you get? What did he get you?
What did he get you?
And yeah, and so it shouldn't be competitive. I don't want you to know don't worry about what I got. Don't worry about what I got is what he gave me. And what he gave me is something I cannot business. But that's really how I feel about it. I don't know that chivalry is not dead. It may be on life support somewhere or taking a break sometimes, but and I know that's not always. But I just think we have to balance it out. So I'm here for it, but I just think it needs to be done differently.
Right.
That's my take.
All right. Well, we have some people in the chat, so we want to acknowledge them. And please come in and hit that thumbs up button for us. Hey, Lisa, she said, good night. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Sharon, she said, I feel love in the air. That's how she feels about it. And Kathy said, good evening, everyone. Hey, Kathy. And Elise, I hope I'm saying it right. She said, thank you, Mr. James. So, hey, Tiff. She said, happy Monday, everyone. And my big sister said, hey, my sisters. So, and Mr. Tony. So she was adding you in there. I can say that. That's my sister. And Theo, hey, sis. She said, happy Monday. All right. So the question I have is, has Valentine's Day ever highlighted something you needed to heal in your love life? I'll read it again. Has Valentine's Day ever highlighted something you needed to heal in your love life?
Guess first.
So I would say that healing showed me that love should feel safe, not confusing. So Valentine, it does not designate any one particular day for me. So to answer that question, no. And I always go back to this: if it disrupts my peace, I'm dealing with it in that moment. So whenever it arises, I don't wait for Valentine's Day to come to say, hey, or a recollection or a reflection on Valentine's Day, because I'm reflecting and reflecting and being introspective most days of my life. So to that point, I don't need a particular day to say, hey, let me deal with this pain that occurred last month or last year for me to heal.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Tony.
I agree 100%. and you don't need Valentine's Day to, but what Valentine's Day does, what it does, what it's doing for me right now is this very moment. I can speak on myself, but I think last Valentine's Day, I think I was engaged to be married. This Valentine's Day, I'm sitting here by myself. So, um, it I don't, and I agree. I don't need Valentine's Day, you know, to help me reflect. Uh, you have to heal in the moment. That February 14th doesn't make a difference.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
What? At least you got Tyson is on, so well, Tyson left. I was gonna say you got another man in the house, so that you don't feel like you're out here by yourself with the three women. No.
He got his church handkerchief to keep him.
I feel like I want to call him Deacon James. Okay.
Oh.
Where you at,
What about
Tyson?
you, lady? Oh, lady.
It's kind of a tricky question. Is this ever highlighted something that you needed to heal from in your love life? So think about my love life and then think about the places in my love life that were hurt or wounded or broken.
Yeah.
And then think about how Valentine's Day brings them to light or illuminates them. Because sometimes there's stuff that we're not aware of that we think that we've gotten over or gotten through in our love life until a day like this comes up, until a holiday or something comes up, and you think that you are loving your single life until Christmas comes and you don't have nobody to be in matching pajamas with, And so those things kind of sneak up on you. And I think for me, if I'm honest, as always, it was like the need to be needed in a sense. It made me think about what that really looks like for me and how a person needs me. Because the way people need us is not always healthy. It's not always positive. It's not always something or a way that will also serve us and reciprocate. So for me, I think Valentine's Day illuminated that for me to make me rethink of the way that I want to be needed by my partner. And that's a place that I had to learn how to heal in my own brokenness to know that I'm secure and I'm good regardless. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense to me because and I can tell you it's Christmas and the matching pajamas, and and that's not Valentine's. It goes back to Thanksgiving. It goes back to Christmas, New Year's Eve. Sometimes they're only Friday nights, Saturday night. So it's not
Right.
just Valentine's. Yeah, I mean it's more than just Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is just another day. It's a reference point where we can go back and reflect. And being that it's a day for lovers, it can hit you kind of hard if you're not careful. But like I said, it goes back to Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's Eve. I mean, who wants to be alone by themselves on New Year's Eve? What's the difference between New Year's Eve and Valentine's Day? Bringing the New Year by yourself,
Right.
Valentine's Day by yourself. So. But Valentine's Day is a good reference point, though. And it's a good point to reflect, think back on some things maybe you could do different.
Lady Dawn, I'm loving that matching PJ reference. I do that every year with my children for Christmas. I love it. It's such a memorable time and gesture.
It is. It is, and I think that, like, for me, with that, it taught me to understand that, like you said, it's a memorable moment, something you do with your children. That just because you don't have supposedly significant other doesn't mean that you don't have the love that you need. It's how you display it. Again, so for me, it was that need to be needed because like my son, like we'll do matching pajamas sometimes because sometimes I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to look like him, and it's just me and him. So I had to recalibrate how I thought about the holidays, how I thought about these moments. And again, that need to be needed. Who am I needing to be needed by? Do I want to be needed by someone who just wants me to fill their needs? Or do I want to be needed by people who our love is reciprocal? So when I got that understanding, I learned how to enjoy those around me and every holiday, whether there's a man in my life or not. I have love, period. So that
I love that.
it's very refreshing.
And then going back on what Tony said, I think also it has a lot to how you embrace these holidays also has a lot to do with your history with them. Because for me, having been having been married to a pastor, New Year's, at one point I dreaded, honestly speaking, going to church on New Year's with my children toe to toe. And it got to a point where I'm like, thank you, God. I get to spend New Year's home in my bed, just by myself after I get the children in their bed. Because pastors at the church. And I'm like, thank you, God. So I think a lot of these celebrations that we're talking about and how we deal with them now has a lot to do with our history with them too. For example, Dr. Elaine talked about Valentine's Day giving birth, and before that, how you dealt with Valentine's Day before that was a lot different. So for me, I'm embracing these moments. Wow, God, I'm thanking you ahead of time. Before he sends me my partner for life, I'm embracing these moments.
Wow.
I love that.
Okay. Tyson, I know you. Welcome to the show.
Hey, hello everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Having some issues with the camera logging in and all that. It's a little crazy.
That's
You're here
okay,
now.
but Tony's happy to have another male on the show because he was feeling, alone.
I
So,
got you, Tony. I got you. I'm here.
so I don't know if you had the opportunity to hear the question.
Mhm.
How has Valentine's Day highlighted something you needed to heal in your love life or not?
How has Valentine's Day highlighted something that I needed to heal in my love life? I don't know if it actually had the impact on healing anything in my love life. One thing from a very long time ago that Valentine's Day and so many of the other holidays has done it is affirmed the need to live in a certain kind of way as opposed to waiting for a day. Flowers and candy don't have to be designated to the day when they're the most expensive.
Amen.
I don't, the ex-wife that I had, like I bring home flowers on any day, not the birthday, not just for Valentine's Day, but on any day. And that put me in the space of living in love. So I don't know if that would be healing, but I think more or less an affirmation of a way to be and not designating a specific time to be in a certain way.
Like
That makes sense.
it makes sense. Definitely makes
And
sense.
beautifully said. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
He
Thank
said
you.
thank you. He said, mm-hmm.
I
Like,
said,
I know.
thank you. No, I said thank you.
I'm messing with you, Tyson. We have some comments. They're talking in the chat. So let's see. Jacqueline said, for me, I've always been a shy romantic. So doing something special for Valentine's Day would hold significance. Little gestures plays a part in my love language. It's quality versus quantity. Thank you. Wait, we got a soup. Oh, wait, hold on. There's a super chat in the building. There's a super chat. Yay, 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 yay. So, yay, super chat. We stop everything. We're excited. It says, love is the greatest healer. Happy Valentine's Day to all. Remember, love is love. Thank you, Pastor Sheila.
Yay. All right, where
Yes,
we
I
go.
get excited for super chats. Rochelle said, love language is not always the same. Agape love, unconditional love, is what we get from the Creator, and we should try to spread that love to all that we can. Okay. Thank you. And she says, Valentine's Day is overrated. Card companies and the economy benefits most. And I think that goes to the point where a few people said, but Tyson said it, when flowers are the most expensive, when candy is the most expensive. Yeah, we're putting a lot of pressure. All right.
Indeed, indeed. All right. Well, let's see. And while we're talking about pressure, well, do you think that Valentine's Day, although we just kind of touched on it, puts unnecessary pressure on relationships, or does it expose what's already there? Got a little complex contrast there.
I think it could do both.
Okay.
Like if you with somebody and you really thinking it's about you and that person, and they don't show up like how you expect them to do on Valentine's Day, right? It's like, wait a minute, what's really going on here? Um, and then the idea of pressure. One of the things that I often feel most bad about with many of the holidays, like the Thanksgiving and the Christmases, is that those people who have lost loved ones, and those people who don't have that round table with the turkey and the greens and the black eyed peas and all that, and those people who don't get to bask, and I sympathize with them during holiday seasons, because it hits different. Yeah, they may get an invitation to be at somebody's house, but if you don't have these things, it can leave a very lonely space in a person's heart. And the pressure comes with that.
Yeah.
And I think it's oftentimes unfair. You know what I mean? That damn, like,
I like that. I mean, I think I'm gonna jump in here. I think, Tyson, you bring up a really great point, and I think this goes back to communication. And I'll speak for myself as someone who, you know, both of my parents are deceased, and yes, you have your children, you love them, but it's a different relationship. And I think when you're not able to, it's not about the holiday so much, like it's, can I feel safe with you? Can I feel supported with you? And if you feel left out or alone or abandoned, because I think that there is, um, and I know this is not that, but I'm going there. It was like, I remember when, my mom died, that was it. My dad died a long time ago, years ago, but I felt like an orphan. I was like, I don't have parents. I don't have, so that was a feeling, that a void that I never experienced before. So when you think about holidays, it's like, okay, yes, your kids love you or whatever, but not having another adult to be able to pour into you in that way. Not, I know it's not a parent, but now going, I'm not married, and I'm divorced. I don't have my parents. So it does
Mhm.
different. And I think that's a great point that you brought up, because if we're not talking to our partner about that, then they don't know, they're not filling an expectation that you have, not based on the day per se, but based on the feeling you have around
Mhm.
holidays.
Exactly. Yep.
So
Yep.
that's a good point.
Thank you. Yeah,
I
it's
can agree
real.
with that.
It's very real.
Mhm.
And I
Very
think
real.
in those cases too, you have to consider while we're here, um, that the other side of it, kind of, just to add on to what you're saying, is the reality is that no one is ever going to fill those voids,
Mhm.
because we can't replace people.
Right.
So for me, it's finding a new normal
Mhm.
so that so it doesn't feel like a void. It's just a different way that I'm drawing from that love that I did experience when they were here, that I did get to encounter, when I had them in my life. Because yeah, my son can't fill the void, like, Dr. E. My father has passed, my mother's still alive, but it's not the same. And as adults, we still want to be somebody's child. You still want to kind of feel that love that you give to your children. There's a part of us that I'm always going to be my dad's baby girl. I'm always going to be, but there is no man that can come in my life and then fill that. My son can't do it. So I had to find another way. And as I said, for me, it
Mhm.
was finding a new normal to
Mhm.
still have that without it feeling like a void. Because sometimes those voids are, it's the impossibility of filling them can take you out,
Mhm.
you know. Um, and then it shuts you down for receiving any kind of love, and that's the one thing that I know for me that I did not want. But I agree with what you both said, but in listening to you, that's what it made me think about, is us developing new normals when we do have those losses, especially in the areas that involve love. I hope that made sense.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
Totally.
So I have a question. Have you ever stayed too long because you did not want to be alone for the holidays?
No. I
Y'all
can
all
answer that. If
hear me?
nobody else
Did y'all
can
hear?
answer that,
Did y'all hear me? Let me read that again, because I don't think they heard me. Let me see. Have you ever stayed too long because you did not want to be alone for the holidays?
I can, I can, yes, 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 and yes. And in a sense, it was more than just the holidays. It was I was married to the same person for 26 years, and it wasn't necessarily the holidays. It was the idea of failure itself. Everybody wants to fail in their marriage, uh, and that's something that would eat away with you for years and years. I don't know if you ever truly 100% heal from it. But and the thing is, once you do divorce, and I can speak for myself that you have children, you have grandchildren, and the holidays do get lonely sometimes because she's over there in another state with your children, some children and grandchildren, and you're here, and you don't want to be alone from the holidays. So yes, I think we've all been through it. A lot of us, you don't want to be alone during the holidays, and I don't know how long is too long. I don't know if that's I guess it's objective or subjective, depending on your situation. But I think we've all done that because who wants to fail? I know I didn't, but things do happen.
It's definitely a valid point.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't necessarily recall having stayed based on a holiday, but I will say, in all transparency, I did stay based on rituals and being my comfortability level. And I think a lot of that has you to piggybacking on what Tony just said, because you have your children and you have certain rituals that you are accustomed to and you go through, and then you just go through the motions of, I would say it was more of that than just saying, oh, Christmas is coming up, so let me hang in here for this next Christmas, but more for the tradition of the holidays and the rituals and the comfortability of it. Because I had broken up with people right before my birthday, so it couldn't have been that.
I've done that too. And that's when I knew. I was like, this is serious. I really don't want to be here because I didn't stay for the gift.
Yeah. Because I know for sure. I'm like, I've stayed too long, but it was never because of the holidays. It was like, you know what? I need to break it with you 3 days ago because I refuse to go through the holidays. I dislike you too much to spend the holidays with you. I can't do it. So, well, let's do this before the holidays come. I don't want to be trapped. I can't do it.
Wait, they're talking in the chat, so I want to make sure we are getting people. So we will ask that while we're getting the chats up, that if you hit that like button and subscribe, if you have not subscribed and you like what you're hearing, please hit that button so you'll be notified every time Monday Beyond the Mic is coming on or something that's on the Bravo with Sheila Network. So please hit that like button for us. So Michelle said yes to the answer of staying too long. And Jackie said, sister-in-law, hey, she says, exactly. I lost my son. So sometimes I feel that emptiness that I'm no longer a mother. I try to show love every day to everyone, but not all the time is reciprocated or acknowledged. Right. Definitely. You feel that it's that loss that we were talking about. And then you try to like, okay, how do I fill that? Mm-hmm. And to your point, finding a new norm, but that takes time, especially when it's your only, or what, for her only son. Right. And I say, I only had one mother, one father. So when both are taken, it's like, yeah, I don't know what this feels like. I knew what it was like to live with one parent. I didn't know what it was like to live without both. So yeah, definitely. Thank you. Lee said, absolutely. I can admit, especially now that I'm older, and I don't know what that. So now that I'm older, she can admit. Michelle said, it's Michelle Blackstock. And my answer is yes, 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 guilty. Staying longer. And Lee says, and have learned to just own my mistakes and feeling lonely. One day past the expiration date is too long, even if it's Christmas, New Year's, birthday, whatever. That's true. You staying past, you don't want to drink the expired milk, right? You'd be like, it expired yesterday. No, throw it away. Okay. Willie said some of these responses are from people who seem to have never had a very big Valentine's Day experience. Okay.
All right, mentor.
All right. And hey, John, he said, hey. And Jackie says, now that I'm older, I've come to be content in my singleness, not loneliness. I'm at peace for the most part. Okay.
Amen.
All right. Not sure if anyone else wanted to answer that question on the panel before we move on.
Did we all answer it?
Well, I didn't hear Tyson, but we'll move on because we have some more questions. We definitely want to get to them. So here's another question. How do you guard your heart without building emotional walls? Oh, we got a sound effect too.
Sound
like a train.
Now building an emotional wall.
How do you guard your heart without building emotional walls?
Now,
Um,
go ahead, Tyson. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, Tony, jump on it. You was on it before me.
No, you go for it. Here's my thing. I would say in short answer, um, guarding your heart, you have to be careful. You have to definitely have to be careful, but you have to also have vulnerability in order to love. You have to be vulnerable.
Mm.
Guard your heart to a degree, but also recognize that. Also recognize when you have a good person or a good man or a good woman in your life. Don't be too guarded because you do have to kind of step out there a little bit. I won't say walk the plank, so to speak, but you can't be so guarded to the point where you're blinded. You're so blinded that you can't see the forest for the trees. That's my short answer. Go ahead, Tyson.
Mhm. No, I was pretty much operating in the same
Yeah,
light with that, in the sense of knowing,
yeah,
you know yourself, and you know what things you're willing to do and things that you love to do for the sake of love.
right.
um, you know, Being cognizant of that, and then still also have an open and receptiveness to give as you see fit.
Absolutely.
Amen.
I like that. So let me ask, would that sound like giving because you want to, not feeling like you're giving out of obligation?
Mhm. That's right.
It could be that, and also, offer what's being, reciprocated, or given to you. It's like, all right, well, this person is going above and beyond, or you know what I mean, taking a step that I really appreciate. So now you are worthy and deserving of this from me.
Okay. Okay. I like that. I'll say this. I think this one is hard for me. And I'll tell you why. Because I think sometimes you look for the other shoe to drop. I
Hmm.
think it's this like, okay, okay, yeah, he's nice. Yes, but I'm just waiting. Like, go ahead and you're gonna do something that's gonna make me like no. And I think
Hmm.
we often do this, and I'm gonna pull you in here with me, Dr. Shana, when we say things like, "Don't disturb my peace," right? We big on that. If you disturb my peace, that's it. And sometimes, and I've even seen memes, it's like when you when you find a woman at a certain age who she's doing her thing, you do one thing, she'd be like, "Oh, nope, that's it. I'm not doing this with you," and not taking a step back to say, "Okay, I have to be vulnerable if I really want a relationship. I have
Mhm.
to take down the walls and see the person in front of me as their own person, not the people in the past who may have hurt me." And I think, that's
Amen.
probably on both sides, but I'm just talking from a woman's perspective. And I think, especially if you feel like I've built a lot, and when I say that, I mean, like I've gotten myself to a place that I don't need any foolishness. I don't need it. So you come with like, I don't have time for games. If you serious, let's have a conversation. If not, go play in the sandbox. I don't have time.
Amen.
If you're not intentional, if you're not sure what you want, then until you make up your mind, go play in the sandbox. And matter of fact, just stay in the sandbox. Because at this, as Lady Dawn B would say, at this big old age,
Amen.
you
Yes.
between the sandbox and the grave. So therefore,
Oh my gosh. That's Elaine.
I think I'm rubbing off on her.
Oh Lord, no.
no, I mean, come on, we're looking at a
What's
certain
happening?
age group.
Yeah,
So
no.
let's be honest. So the games is not like when you were 20 and you was like, oh, okay. As you get older, you should become more mature and more intentional about what you want in life. And if it's not that person, then move on.
Amen. And
Yeah.
I I've learned to become more vulnerable at this, as you say, at this big old age. um, and because I am comfortable with myself and knowing, like you said, Dr. Elaine, I do know that I want peace in my life, but it does not prohibit me from being vulnerable with people and to a certain extent. right? And every person has to figure that out for themselves, how much vulnerability you're willing to give, right? Um, but even with that, there are red flags. So for me, I'm learning that if I notice red flags, not to be dismissive of them and not necessarily to say, oh, I saw that one red flag, I'm over you. No, you got to go. But to keep it in the front and then speak, be transparent to it, use your I messages and saying, I really didn't like it when you said such and such, that made me feel. So again, that's part of vulnerability. But in building a relationship, that's important. And I also don't believe in bringing the excess baggage into new relationships because I feel like that's unfair because I wouldn't want that for myself. So I've learned, and I have learned throughout the years to go into relationships with um, new sight, not old, well, bringing in old sight, but treating the person based on what they're showing me. Like Maya Angelou says, when a person shows you who they are, believe them. But I am looking for them to show me who they are, not the other person. They already showed me.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I would
I
just
said to
add and
start with
answer that
a blank canvas.
Mm.
That's
You
right.
get to start with a blank canvas as an artist, Elaine, you get to start with a blank canvas. And what you choose to put on that canvas will ultimately be the picture that you paint. And that will determine whether it works for me, whether I like it and want to hang it in my house, or whether I need to get rid of it.
Spoken like a true artist.
I can't help it.
How you
Can't.
doing?
I would just add to that question when you first asked it. Honestly, the visual that came up in my mind was when you talk about guarding your heart while not um, building emotional walls. What I saw when it came, it was still build a wall but create a door. You know,
Mm.
this way you are guarding your heart, but you're leaving room with the door to open it and allow in what you want to come in. You are the controller of what comes in and out of that protected area.
Mm-hmm.
So that's up to you. And this way you're not dismissing your emotions, you're not limiting them, but you're remaining in control of them and being protective of who you allow in to do what. The controls you is in your hands. That's what came to my mind.
Mm. I love it. We have some comments in the chat. I want to make sure we get to read them. Jacqueline says, building your heart with much prayer and scripture reading and surrounding yourself with like-minded people.
Amen. That's right.
And Jackie says, no time for foolishness, no negativity. That's right. Go play in the sandbox.
Peace.
Lee said, yes, sis. This is not the flag ceremony at the Olympics.
Not at all. Not at all.
Oh, this has been a great show. And I just want to say, as we wrap, first of all, thank you to our panel for coming on tonight. But as we wrap today's conversation, here is what we hope you remember: Valentine's Day does not define your worth, your healing, or your future. Love isn't just about who shows up with flowers, it's about who shows up with consistency, honesty, emotional safety, including you. That person is making you a part of that. Whether you're loving someone else, learning to love again, or learning to love yourself better, you still qualify for joy, connection, and peace. So
Amen.
thank you for tuning in to Mondays Beyond the Mic. If this episode resonated with you, we ask that you share. And if you have not done so already, please hit that like button and subscribe, please. And thank you. So we say happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Make sure you spread love, whether that's to yourself or with others. But love starts within and everything flows out from there. So we say good night.
Good night,
Good
everybody.
night.
Good night.